This is the Cool Guys podcast right here. Richard and, of course, Denny Cool. Richard, unless you want to be called a different name.
No, Richard is great.
Where you can create something real in your mind and it becomes the truth to you.
Sure.
And that actually takes shape throughout history, and then it becomes and evolves, and now it's a real thing. And so I'm wondering, is that part of the whole Bigfoot thing, Loch Ness and all that stuff? Because there's never been, to my knowledge, they say they found skulls. Have you ever seen, like, for yourself, you go to a lot of those things, have you seen, like, images or stuff of like skulls and everything, like, firsthand? Have you seen that stuff on display?
No, I did go to a Bigfoot festival last year down in Kentucky, and it was pretty interesting. Dr. Meldrum, who is an anthropologist, and he's one of the big names in the study of Bigfoot, and he was one of them that was one of the speakers down there. And I think he was also on Finding Bigfoot. But one of the things that I remember him talking about is, I believe he says he has personally seen them. And I think he's from Oregon. And that he believes, like I do, it's a flesh and blood. If they exist, I think it's a flesh and blood creature. Mm-hmm. That because he says, why would something that's supernatural need to break open trees and eat grubs and stuff like that? The thing about finding bones, that is an interesting thing, but how many people find bear bones, like say of a grizzly bear out in the wild? You don't really find those either.
That's a good point.
Is it possible? They say in a lot of these forests, that it doesn't take very long for a carcass to disappear between, the wolves, coyotes, things like that. And, you look at species kind of like elephants. Elephants bury their own dead. And, you think, how can something that walks out? Yeah, they have elephant graveyards and stuff. I can't remember a whole lot about it, but I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're places where they take their own dead.
I didn't know
something like that. If Bigfoot does exist, they, who knows how, if they're of an ape, and I believe they're like of the ape family, and if so, that it's possible that they could take and maybe they bury their own. So
I didn't know that. You know what? I'm gonna have to research that.
Yeah, look that up. Like I say, don't quote me on that because it's been a long time, but I'm pretty sure. I know they grieve their dead, and and elephants have a great memory, so it's definitely an interesting thing. But back onto the whole Dr. Meldrum thing, he has a huge collection of like plaster casts of footprints that he's found over the years. I got to get my picture taken near him and got his autograph and all that stuff. But yeah, he was a real interesting person to listen to. I think he runs a museum up there in Oregon. I think it's in Oregon. But,
wow.
So yeah.
Well, he wasn't. I'm looking at my notes because a while back I did a lot of research, and that was going to be part of my Stumble In podcast I was going to talk about. So I'm actually going over some of my notes. I mean, you would have more knowledge than I, but...
Oh, I take it back. Dr. Meldrum, I forgot about that. He just passed away last year with brain cancer. He was 67. Because there was two different speakers there. He was one, and then there was one other. And Dr. Meldrum was... he was not the one on Finding Bigfoot. It was the other person that was there. But, Dr. Meldrum was the one that had the large collection of the Bigfoot casts.
Okay.
He had a bunch of them on display. He had some replica. I think they were, some of them were replicas that you could buy. I didn't buy one, but.
Well, to your point, though, what I liked what you said, it actually brought up a really good point. And I didn't think about this. right? Because you can always research the what if possibilities. You can always research like what it is you're wanting to find out. But sometimes we often forget to research, like what you just said about, well, how often do people come across bear carcass or any other carcass? Like unless, you specifically live, say, like, in those areas. But even still, you are right about that, because I remember watching a show a while back where they did talk about that, where bear carcass are like one of the rarest to find.
Mm-hmm.
Like
look at the size of a grizzly bear. I mean, they're huge.
Yeah, absolutely probably right
close,
about that.
Probably close to the size of what a lot of people say Bigfoot looks like.
Well, they say
Bigfoot might be a little bigger, but
yeah.
You're still. I've been to the zoo. I've been up close to a grizzly. Those things are huge.
And to dwarf that is the Kodiak. And they say that it's like one in I don't know, I forget, it was like in the millions that people find the remains of a Kodiak bear. Mm-hmm. And those things are like, some of them have been recorded at 15 feet standing. That's huge. Yeah. So I wonder, right, if, with that being said, to your point, it was actually Jerry Crew. That was his name. He made the footprints famous in 1958. He's the one who gave rise to the name Bigfoot. And then, of course, we're all familiar with Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin. They made Bigfoot, it was like internationally famous with the 1967 Peterson film, where it shows that one, right? But there's a lot of behind the headlines characters that come into play with this stuff. And one of the things that I think we all have to keep in mind here is when we're looking, that's why I like looking at older documentaries, not newer crap, because I mean, you can't even go on YouTube or anything today without, it's so stupid now. You got tigers fighting bears, and it's like, come on, it's AI junk. So I like to look at older footage. And one of the things I found interesting was, and they tried to, many, the heck do they call those people? Video analyzers or whatever, right? They took Patterson's video and went frame by frame by frame, and they tried to disprove its integrity. Mm-hmm. And they couldn't do it. They said, there's no way this thing was... what they're looking for, hacked or jerry-rigged in any way. It's authentic. And the only debate that's been the debate for many years about that has been, is it a guy in a suit? Well, it's bipedal, and they had, what did you just call them, zoologists or anthropologists? What are they called?
Cryptozoologists?
Oh, cryptozoologists, okay. They've had some of the best, like Dr. Moran and stuff, who studied this footage and are the leading experts in this stuff, say that, no, that is a bipedal creature. Like, there's no way that's a man, because if you look at the strides of this thing, it's taken like 6 to 8 foot strides per step. You and I could do that if we tried.
Yeah.
Right? We'd rip one of our, sensitive parts open, right? But the whole point of it is if that was the case, and if for a fact that these were things, flesh and blood, right? Like what you said, then I could see that there would be something out there. There are many things. Matter of fact, we're discovering new things every day. We've researched, Richard, we've researched 1% of our ocean.
Yeah. That's like a giant
Cool Guys, ladies and gentlemen podcast.